I mean, if Adam didn't rock your socks, I don't know what will. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! So this episode was the Men Tell All episode of season 13 of The Bachelorette. This was a really good episode. I know I've been saying that for the last couple episodes, but it's true. Yeah, let's jump right into it. First of all, let me just, a side note, Dean's hair. I don't know who did it, but like it was real interesting because it was like several things happening. It was like this was coming forward and then like this did a thing, like a loopy thing, and then came back. I was like, that his hairstylist was like, we finna do this. And they did it. He's so handsome. I mean, Dean was so handsome. Adam was so handsome. Anthony was very handsome. Like, I'm really glad that we didn't hear anything from Tickle Guy and we didn't hear anything from Jack Stone, and I'm glad they didn't focus on Jack's face at all because I was like, ugh. This episode was really cringeworthy for me for a lot of it. The whole Lee and Kenny thing, I mean, it was like an hour of like, admit you're a racist. Admit you're a racist. Admit you're a racist. And I just was like, Jesus, guys, he doesn't want to admit he's a racist because he doesn't think he is. I took a lot of notes, so here we go. I'm going to be looking at my phone because so I really felt like Adam was trying to make his mark in this episode. He spoke up a lot, slimmed up, 5 o'clock shadow, tan. He looks so good. Adam was rocking my world. Every time the camera panned to him, I was like, bless us, Jesus. Thank you. Just keep the camera on him. Like, he should be a model. And I found out that he's 6'2". Oh my God, he would be so overwhelming in person for me. I want a do-over, you know? Like, I regret everything I said about him, and I want him in the top 3. I want a do-over. I feel like Rachel and I deserve Adam. Adam comments on the fact that Blake spent too much time dealing with Waboom. They almost have that like little fight again on the stage, and then Iggy jumps up and is like, this is what it was like in the house. Like, they were just arguing. It just got so annoying again. Like, girl, nobody wants to hear you guys argue. They move on to Demario after that. Demario, I guess, is considered a villain of the season, which I don't think he is. He talked about his situation. He talked about how that scraggly girl who came on the show was not his ex-girlfriend, was just some girl he used to mess with. And she wrote into the show, said he was, said she was his ex-girlfriend, and they used that and they went forward with it. Rachel ended up saying later on in the episode that the reason why Sheila had to let him go is because he pretended like he didn't know who she was. If he had just been honest about who she was from the jump, then none of this would have been an issue. I absolutely get it. I mean, he seems like he's a fuckboy and he was trying to get away with doing whatever, and like, she honestly wasn't going to end up with Demario anyway, so I was glad that he got kicked off. It was good that he got kicked off in the beginning the way he did, but like, I don't think he deserved the vitriol from it, even though when he was on stage he was trying to make it seem like Lexi, I think her name was, let's call her Scraggly, was like a nothing, and to me she was like low-key a nothing too, but like, come on, have some decorum. So Luke comes to his defense because like the audience is like booing Demario. I support your brother, like, blah, 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 blah. And then No Name in the corner jumps up and is like, oh, I love how all the guys who are like bad or whatever are coming together, supporting each other. And I was just like, who is you? And so did Demario. Demario's like, who are you? And I was like, exactly. And even Dean had to step in and be like, leave Demario alone. Yeah, he made some really stupid choices, but like, he's not a bad guy. He's not Waboom or Lee. I feel like Dean is just as upset. I think Dean is so offended. Dean and Adam were both like, no. Like, they were like, no. Like, no to Lee's racism. Like, absolutely negative ghostwriter. They were very vocal. And I don't know if it's just the way that ABC edited it, and ABC, shame on ABC for Lee and Kenny's situation. Shame on ABC. I'm going in the wrong direction. Let's go back. Iggy is talking about his meddling when he dealt with telling Rachel about Josiah. Josiah ends up calling him a rat and is like, look, you're the reason why Rachel didn't trust me after that. That's low-key kind of true. Even though I knew that Josiah was not right for Rachel from the get-go, but like, Iggy didn't have to help that, especially because it didn't actually help his case. And he's saying like, he felt it was his job to tell her all the people who weren't there for the right reason. It's not your job. Your job is actually to win her heart, not to be worrying about the other guys. Then they move on to talking about Lee and Kenny. This in the beginning part, they don't let Lee talk. Like, they just let everybody air their grievances about Lee. And when Kenny starts to talk about it, Kenny says that, they had a gentleman's agreement, everybody in the house. When Lee broke that agreement, he, as a man, stood up and said something to him, and then it escalated from there. And Will ended up talking about how the rift between Lee and Kenny, like, cast a shadow on the group because there was always arguing because of it. And then when they got to South Carolina, Hilton Head, that's when it kind of like, that's when everybody in the cast turned against Lee. Kenny said that he felt in the beginning that it wasn't a racism thing from Lee, that it didn't feel insidious like racism. It felt like Lee got backed into a corner, felt like he wasn't right for this show or felt intimidated by all the men that were on the show and just decided to make his mark and be that guy, which that wasn't the guy to be. And Dean still was like, look, you know, I feel like you went after the people of color. Like, you made Eric, you made Will, you made Kenny, you made Anthony's time here difficult because of this tension that didn't need to happen. And both Adam and Dean, like I said, both Adam and Dean were very adamant, like, you ruined this for people because you chose to be this person. And DeMario stood up and was like, honestly, watching the show, DeMario was like, I didn't understand what was happening. I didn't understand why Lee turned into this person, because DeMario's like, I left the show early. And when I left the show, Lee was a super nice, genuine person. Who this person was that I saw on television, I have no idea. Lee was the first person to reach out to DeMario when DeMario's first situation in Bachelor in Paradise came out, and was like, reached out and was like, you know, I have your back or whatever. And then to see the tweets and all these things, it was like shook. It was like shocking to people. And that's exactly what Will said. Will said, I tried to give you the benefit of the doubt the entire time, but like at a certain point, it's like we couldn't give you any benefit of the doubt. You presented yourself as a super nice person, but then all of a sudden it switched and you became this like this villain for no reason. It added a layer up to this show that was so unnecessary. Then we go on and we talk to Kenny. They pull him into the hot seat and they have conversation about Kenny and Lee, Kenny and Rachel, and Kenny and his daughter. And I think Kenny represented himself very, very well. Kenny was one of my early favorites. I was just disappointed that he couldn't handle himself in a way that I felt that was appropriate with dealing with Lee. And at the end of the episode, when we talked to Rachel, she said the same thing, that like just the way he handled the Lee situation, I mean, it just was wrong. Even though he was in the right, it wasn't the right way to handle it. And I 100% agree, as you know, if you watched my recaps. Kenny's daughter came out on stage and it was so cute because they gave him the tickets to Disneyland, so they're gonna go, and it's like Kenny's birthday the next day, and it was just really cute. I just love the positive representation of Black fathers and Black daughters. I think that Kenny represents that well, and I applaud him, and I'm just so kudos to it. You know what I mean? Like, I love that. So before Kenny's daughter came onto the stage, Kenny was on the stage by himself talking with the host, and Lee used this opportunity to fake apologize for his behavior on the show, citing that he wasn't a good friend and citing that he, you know, took it too far or whatever. Kenny called bullshit on that. Kenny said, after watching the show, like, if I hadn't watched the show and seen you in your confessionals talk about how you wanted to ruffle feathers, get under people's skin, then I might believe you, but you weren't there for Rachel. You were there to cause issue. And so that's where I call bullshit. I don't think it's genuine. And Lee is just like, okay. And I think, honestly, Lee thought that that would be the end of it, that he would be able to just like walk away and everybody would accept that BS answer. And no, that was not the case. Later on, when the host pulls Lee onto stage, that's when, to me, that was the most stressful 30 minutes of television I've ever watched. I guess he must be surrounded in a community of people who feel a certain way. It's like those people who believe that Black people go to college for free, or Black people get into college because of affirmative action. Like, it's just like such crazy ignorance that they don't even realize that that idea is racist, because that is what they've been told. I mean, it just was so uncomfortable, and they just kept trying to tell him, like, denounce the tweets, admit you're racist, like, say these things, and he couldn't or wouldn't do it. And it's because he just kept saying that he was ignorant and he was here to learn. He's got more things to learn. Yeah, like, everyone is like, no, you don't believe that because you were promoting the show. You never denounced the tweets. You know, Will tried to like explain it to him. Dean tried to explain it to him. Adam tried to explain it to him. Like, I really like when Josiah sat next to Lee and tried to explain the situation to him as well, and he still didn't get it, talking about the water fountains, talking about being able to even sit next to you, talking about like civil rights in general, and for you to come on this show and do this is like really just a spit in the face of that, and like for you to not even understand what you're doing is like crazy. Anthony got up and said something that was very poignant and was like, look, I understand where you're coming from. You don't know that what you're thinking and saying is racist because that's how you've been raised, but we are here telling you that it is. And so at this time, what we want from you is an apology for that. Regardless of the fact if you believe that is racist or not, we are telling you that it is, and you need to apologize for it. I mean, DeMario even got up and was like really heated and was like, how could you, it is blasphemy for you to equate the NAACP to the KKK, almost as if you have no idea what the NAACP is. For you to even think that it's the same thing as the KKK is like, I want to sit down and have a history lesson with you. It's scary if there's people out there like Lee. Because he's not even like a backwater country boy. He's like a person in the world. At the end, finally Lee says, those tweets are racist and I denounce it. Like, he finally denounces those tweets. And like, Kenny was like, you know, I have to forgive you for that. That I believe that genuine apology. And like, they hugged. And I was just like, thank God, because I was just over that segment 100%. Then we come back to Dean being in the hot seat talking about Rachel and how he felt that, you know, he was hurt. I wasn't hurt for Dean. Like, I guess I had no sympathy for Dean, as you guys know. And many of you missed Dean and felt like he should have been there. I was just like, so, okay, she told you that she was falling in love with you, and perhaps she was, but you're not right for her. I don't know if Dean's going to be the next Bachelor. Maybe he will be. I don't know who else. This is between Dean and Adam for me. Maybe Anthony. I would love for Anthony to be the next Bachelor. I would love that. But, like, I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe Kenny? Oh, I love that. That'd be fun. I don't know. I have no idea. He gets there and he talks about how, like, the family situation and how his father was really great for allowing the cameras to come into his house after not really speaking to him for 2 years, and how he just gave the producer's dad's number and was like, you can call him and see if he'll let us in, and he did. And I was like, I applaud the dad for that. Rachel comes out on stage, and Rachel says that she misses the guys. I feel no chemistry between her and those other guys. I mean, maybe some of them are cool. Like, I honestly feel like she might have missed Matt. Like, Matt is the person that she talks about how cool he is, but like didn't pick him, and we don't know anything about Matt. I want to learn more about Matt and Adam, honestly. Like, I was mad at them for being on the show as long as they were, but like, I really wanted to get to know more. Being Adam's so fun right now. And she was a little weird to DeMario, and like, I was just like, this is, at this time, it's like, who cares? Who cares? Let DeMario go. Like, be nice to DeMario. Like, I don't know. I have a little sympathy for DeMario because he went through that whole other thing with an almost rape charge that, like, yeah. So Rachel comes out. To me, she didn't really add anything or say anything that I was just like, ooh, yeah, girl, get them. Oh my God. And Fred, you guys. Fred. So Fred basically had this speech prepared, and it was very well said. He had this speech prepared where he said that I was coming there to get to know you, the girl I already knew, who I was already in love with, or who I already liked, and you only saw me as the little boy who was whatever, and I'm really sad that we couldn't make amends and we couldn't get past that, but I just want you to know that I respect you and I respect who you are, and I wish you the best. And I was like, I mean, he's absolutely right. She did not give him a chance. She was like not into that kiss. I don't know what happened in their childhood, but she was not feeling Fred. And he really liked her. All the guys like hugged him afterwards because it looked like he was going to cry. Like, I was like, Fred, I forgot about you. I mean, I still wasn't like super into you, but like, oh, it makes me sad. I do think that Kenny telling her that, you know, if it doesn't work out with any of the other guys, or that he was there for her, and I loved it. Like, by the time Rachel came out, I was like over talking about Lee. I mean, I'm now regretting Brian 100%. Like, I'm regretting Brian. I'm regretting him. His mom is too much. Oh, and then they had the bloopers. Dean is kind of nasty. And Rachel being tired and yawning. Like, oh, and Josiah eating. The bloopers of Josiah eating, yo. Like, I would be so ashamed. And Dean putting the gum behind his ear and then eating it. And then you see, like, clips of him on the stage, like, hiding behind everybody because he's so embarrassed that it got shown. Reality TV. Oh, my God. I would hate bloopers. I would hate it. Do you want me to do a live showing of The Bachelorette next week? And so, would you like it on YouTube or Instagram? I'm on the West Coast, so it would be after the East Coast feed. If I could find an East Coast feed to watch it, I would absolutely love to do that. But I already asked Chris. She can't do it because she has acting class. But I would love for it because we started out the beginning of the season together and to end it together. But yeah. So now I'm going to go on Instagram. So YouTube, I need you to vote. I need you to vote for real. I need you to know if you want to do it on YouTube live or you want me to do it on Instagram live. If so, you should follow me on Instagram and I will have it somewhere on the screen so you can follow me there. That's obviously just call me Law, like, you know. So you guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. Please, let's have a conversation down below about this situation. What do you guys think? If you like what I do here on this channel, please go ahead and consider being a patron. And you can just click the link down below. If you'd like to know about my pillow and background stuff, just go ahead and check. I have all the information down below. And always remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Thank you. Bye. I feel like every other video I forget to say that. I gotta make it my tagline. I gotta be you, be true, and find your place. I gotta remember to say it. I love it.